All right, buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into a market that's shaking up the world of beauty.
China's beauty boom.
You got it. And this isn't just about lipstick and lotions, right? We're talking about a market that's rewriting the rules, a global game changer. And luckily, you've handed me a report, hot off the presses, from July 2023, China's cosmetics and personal care market. So ready to uncover the secrets behind this phenomenon.
Absolutely. Let's unearth those trends.
Okay, so first things first. This report hit me with numbers that, frankly, blew my mind.
Oh, yeah, we're talking eye-popping figures here.
Like, seriously massive. Think U.S., $78 billion.
By 2025, that's right, bigger than most countries' entire economies. To put that into perspective, it's second only to the U.S. globally.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of skincare. But I gotta ask, what's driving this insane growth? Is it really just people buying more shampoo?
It's so much more than that. Think about it. You've got a rising middle class in China with more buying power than ever before. They have the cash to spend, and they're not afraid to use it.
Right. But it's not just about having money to burn. It's about a shift in mindset, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. There's a growing emphasis on beauty and self-care in China. It's like investing in yourself, understanding your worth. This ties into a trend the report calls premiumization.
Okay, break that down for me. Premiumization. Sounds fancy.
It is. It's about the desire for the best of the best, that luxury experience. Imagine high-end brands, rare ingredients, and products that actually deliver. Take Herborist, for example.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
They've totally tapped into that desire for luxury by incorporating traditional Chinese medicine into their skincare. It's a prime example of this trend, of Chinese consumers seeking those unique, high-quality products. They're not just buying a face cream, they're buying into a whole philosophy.
So we've got this picture of the Chinese beauty consumer, sophisticated, informed, and willing to spend top dollar for quality and results. But flipping through this report, one thing that jumped out at me was this idea that, well, there's no such thing as a typical Chinese beauty consumer, right?
You're absolutely right. It's such a diverse market, and I think one of the biggest traps brands fall into is thinking it's one size fits all.
It's about understanding those nuances.
Exactly. And those nuances can really make or break a brand try and penetrate the market.
Okay, so let's dive into some of those nuances then. What are some of the trends that stand out to you in the report? What should our listeners be aware of?
Well, let's talk about the whole natural and organic trend.
Yeah, huge here too.
Massive. But here's the thing. China's regulations around what actually constitutes natural or organic, those are still evolving.
So it's not as straightforward as just slapping a label on a product and calling it a day.
Unfortunately not. What might fly in the EU or North America might not cut it in China.
That's a good point for brands to keep in mind.
It's crucial. You've got to do your homework, work with local experts, really make sure you're meeting those specific requirements if you want to resonate with that Chinese consumer.
Transparency and authenticity are key. So we've talked about ingredients, regulations. Now let's switch gears to something else that's totally reshaping the game: social media.
Oh, absolutely. In China, social media isn't just an advertising platform, it's the platform. It's where consumers discover, research, connect with brands. It's everything.
It's like word of mouth on steroids.
Yes. And the report really emphasizes how crucial this is to tap into.
So it's not just your average beauty influencer situation.
It's next level. You've got your KOLs, those big name influencers with massive followings.
Right, the ones with millions of followers.
Exactly. But then you've also got your KOCs.
KOCs.
Key opinion consumers.
Yeah.
Think of those everyday people who've built a strong online presence, really cultivated a dedicated following. Their opinions carry weight.
Because they feel more authentic, more relatable, right?
Exactly. That's what resonates with Chinese consumers, especially younger generations. It's that trust factor.
So for brands, I'm guessing that means understanding which platform is right for them and how to leverage it effectively.
100%.
Yeah.
You can't just have a presence on every platform and hope for the best.
Yeah.
It's about being strategic, knowing your audience, and speaking directly to them. Think about it. If you're not on Douyin, for instance, you're missing out on a huge chunk of the conversation happening around beauty. It's like trying to sell ice cream in a heat wave without a shop.
You've got to be where the people are.
Exactly. Be present, engage authentically, and build those relationships. It's all about connection.
It's amazing how social media has become this driving force in the Chinese beauty market. But with all this talk about online platforms and digital strategies, I'm curious about those brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, what about them?
Are they becoming obsolete? I mean, is there still a place for physical retail in this digital age?
That's a great question, and I'm glad the report actually addresses this because it's not so black and white. While online is huge, physical retail in China is far from dead.
Interesting.
It's evolving. Think about it. You walk into this beautifully designed store. Maybe it's got that traditional Chinese aesthetic, but with a modern twist.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And the staff is knowledgeable. They're offering personalized recommendations. You can touch, smell, test the products. It's an experience.
It's like that sensory element you don't get online.
Exactly. It becomes about more than just buying a product. It's about buying into a brand, a lifestyle. And the report highlights how some brands are really capitalizing on this. Take Florasis, for example. They started online, gained a huge following, and then boom, they opened this stunning flagship store.
Wow, that's a bold move. I mean, it really shows they believe in the power of that physical presence.
Absolutely. And for a lot of Chinese consumers, that tangible experience is still incredibly important. It builds trust.
For sure. It's like, I've seen it, I've touched it, I trust it.
Right. So it's not really about online versus offline. It's about understanding the strengths of each and creating this seamless experience across both.
That multi-channel strategy.
Exactly. And that means understanding those key platforms. You've got your Tmall, your JD.com, but then you've got those emerging players like Douyin and RED, and each one has its own unique vibe, its own audience.
So it's like this intricate dance, knowing where your audience is, how they like to engage, and speaking their language.
Precisely. And that's what makes this market so dynamic. It's constantly pushing boundaries, rewarding innovation, and that deep understanding of the consumer.
Well, there you have it. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of China's beauty boom, from those jaw-dropping market stats to the rise of the discerning Chinese consumer, the power of social media, and the evolving role of physical retail. It's clear that this industry is about more than just looking good. It's about big business, constant innovation, and really tapping into cultural trends. So as you navigate this dynamic landscape, keep your eyes peeled for those emerging trends, challenge those assumptions, and who knows, you might just discover the next big thing in the beauty world.